Heidi ho, my friends. How are you today? I hope you're doing well. So, today I thought we would work in our grandma's attic journal, and I have something that I think is going to be fun. Well, it's going to be different, anyhow. So, um, my grandma was a reader and a writer. She loved to write books and poems and letters. She used to write us little letters and cards all the time. And gosh, I wish I still had some of the cards and letters that she used to send me when I was a kid, and the poetry book that she wrote. Actually, my niece has that book, and because she wrote a poem to my niece when my niece was born, so my niece has that. So anyhow, I covered this page with a piece of cardstock that just kind of reminded me of the back of their bookcase. Now, their bookcase didn't have this little frilly thing on it, but it was kind of like this. And of course, I got glue all over the back of it. Let me kind of get the glue off the back of it here. And then I have all glued up a spine, looks like a caterpillar, doesn't it, of an old book. Like whenever I take spines off books, I save them. Doesn't matter the condition they're in, I save them. And I just put them over here in my little storage box. Because, you know, every now and then I come up with an idea. And this one most likely is dried, so we can take these off. And I'm going to show you what we're going to do with this one. And on the back of this, because they get really fragile, so you do have to back them. And I'm going to show you on the back of this. Now at the top of this one, I added a little piece, just a little tiny piece of just crocheted lace to look like what would be the headband of the book. Now, I did not put one at the bottom. And now that I look at it, it looks kind of naked, and I probably should have. But I backed it with a piece of heavy-duty cardstock because this is very fragile. And I didn't want it to break. But this is going to go in our pocket. And we're going to make a pocket. I have this this cutout from another piece of cardstock that I've been working in a different journal by myself with. So I thought that we would use this to represent her bookcase. So it's going to go down here across the bottom like this, because I'm never going to use this in the other journal that I'm working in. So I just need to decide where I'm going to cut it. Now this book, if I take it all the way to the end, this book gets cut in half. Now, do I want to cut that book in half? Not particularly, but I would just cut, if I took it all the way to the spine, I would just cut the end of it off, and I would still have part of it for this, and that would look kind of wampa-doodled. So let's see if I can move it over a little bit, or if I moved it over here, you know, not use that little part, and put that book there, that would actually just cut that book right there in half. Now, what if I took this and took it all the way across? No. No, no, no. Okay, so let's see. I think I like this better. It puts more red across here, and I like that. So I'm going to cut this little piece off. Let's see if I can get this straight here, right through here, like that. All right, so I don't need that little tiny piece. So I'm going to put this, oh wait, you know what? Before I do that, I need to trim. Let me pull this back here. I need to trim across the bottom, right across here. So let me get my little, there it is. Let's get this. And we're going to trim that paper that's a little bit too long before we put our little bookcase up there. Because there's no need having paper that's too long, because then we're going to put our bookcase there. And that's just going to look silly. So I'm just going to follow the paper, and I'm just going to trim that off. And if it's not perfect, I'm not going to worry about it. There you go. But at least it's not hanging way off, you know, hanging way off the edge. Okay. Now, okay, so we wanted to start on this end. So let's put that there. Now, we're literally going to cut this book right in half. So I'm going to pull this back out. Let me get my ruler. And I'm going to put it right down the middle of that book. And I'm going to use that line right there as my guide to cut that book in half. Now, I don't mind that book being in half because, you know, I might be able to use that someplace. I don't know where, but I might be able to use it someplace, especially in that other journal. So let's just cut that in half. Oops, I missed down here. So let's go down here. I think I need a sharper blade. All right, so I'm going to put this piece aside. I'm just going to put it up here in front of me. And I'm going to put my cap back on. Now, before I glue this down, I do want to kind of ink up my edges a little bit so that I'm not seeing all that white against this dark brown. I don't want to see the white of, you know, where I just cut. There we go. I don't want to see that white on that edge or that edge or the edges of these books. So I'm just kind of tippy-tapping. Just tippy-tapping along. You know, I'm not even going to worry the edges that I can't get way down in here. Kind of gives it a little more dimension if I'm not, you know, tearing it up. There we go. Okay, that'll do. I'm done now. Okay, now the other thing that I have to go on this page. Okay, so that's going to fit across here like that. Is I found a poem. Now this is not one of my grandma's poems, unfortunately, but I found a poem, and it's looked like a poem that, you know, she might write. And this came out of the book that from the journal that we had worked on previously, and I'm just going to back it on this really lightweight piece of cardstock, and it's just pretty on the back. But this is really fragile paper, and I just need to decide how big I want it, and I think I'm going to tear it down a little bit. And I'm going to keep the author's name on there. Okay. And I think I'm even going to, and I know you're thinking, well, now when you put it on that paper, you're going to have to tear that white paper. Well, let me show you what I'm going to do here. I'm just being really gentle as I go around here because I don't want to tear the paper. I just want to highlight the edge of it. Okay, so I want to kind of, I kind of want to mount it. You know what? Let's maybe put it here. Let's put it on this side. Dude, I don't like that color with it now that I've done that. Let's see what other colors we have in our folder here. We have pink. Oh, let's try the green. Let's try the green. Oh, I like the green better. So I kind of want to use this as a frame around it. That's better. All right. So I'm going to just tear this. Okay. Now I'm just kind of using my poem as a guide here. All right. Oops, that's not straight, is it? That's okay, I don't mind. Let's just not even worry about it. Now let's bring it over here because I want little torn edges around here. Let's see, which edge didn't I tear? I didn't tear this edge. Okay, so I want to tear this edge. Okay, and did I tear them all? I think I did. Okay, so let's get rid of these little torn edges. Now let's highlight these. Now see, the torn edges kind of give you a little more of a frayed. They kind of take the ink a little bit better than the straight edges. Now I didn't want it looking. Let me get this out of the way here. I want to show you what I want to do. Now, I want this to look like someone's handled it a little bit. So as I go around the edges and I meet my corners, I'm just very lightly, I'm just barely holding on to this. I'm just using Vintage Photo. I'm just barely touching it to look like someone has taken their fingers and picked it up, okay? So the corners are no bigger than my thumb. So I'm just barely making little circles to look like someone has come through and picked this up and looked at it a lot. Okay? And I'm going to do the same across the top. Just to kind of, I'm just barely touching it. Okay? Just barely. I'm all the way back here. I'm not even, I just want it to look like it's old and people have been touching it to read this lovely poem. Now in the town where my grandparents lived, they were well known, and my grandma was so talented. Now on the back of this, I am going to have to use, let's see, I think this paper has a direction. I think it goes this way. They were very well known. And when we went to visit, if you told them who you were, they didn't, I wasn't very well known because I lived out of state. But if I said they were my grandparents, then the one hotel in town, which was actually a truck stop used for truckers, they would put me in the best room, which wasn't right near where the trucker's shower was. Which, trust me, you wanted. But the ladies over at the, there we go. But they knew me ever since I was a little kid. You know, because my mom grew up in that town. My, there we go. Okay, now I want to put this down. So now I have a little card to go in there. Let's clean this off. Okay. Oh, it's double-sided, so I guess it doesn't matter. Yeah, my mom grew up in that town. Now, see, I think I want the half book in this corner. And so when I would show up in town, they would say, "Oh, I know who your mom is," because I look just like her. And boy, are those memories that are hard to forget. And now all I have left are those memories, and boy, are they special. All right. Okay, so this is still longer than my page. Oops. See, my book is still longer than my page. So let's wipe this glue off. And let's put the glue on the page here. And down here. Right there. And I'm going to leave that stick out a little bit. Like that. Let's get that sticking down. Okay. So now for in our bookshelf pocket, we have this, which will stick up nicely. We have poetry, which of course I need to take this out until this dries. So we have this. We have this. Okay, let's get these things stuck down here. Of course, and I do have to wait for this to dry, but I'm going to put this right here so I don't forget. Now, on this page, have you ever thought of things before you go into bed and you go, "Oh, I know exactly what I want to do." That's how my going to sleep was last night. Made me flipping crazy. I could not go to sleep because I dreamed about these 2 pages. Okay, so on this page, hold on, let me get a hold of that. There we go. On this page, right here, I want to do a snippet. But I don't want to do a snippet of just paper or just fabric. I want to combine them. That's what I want to do. And because I think it'll look pretty cool. Now, I don't know if anybody else has done it, but that's what I'm doing. So I've got my paper from that we've used in the journal, you know, for all the covers and that we've mixed. I've got my drawer open here to mix in, and that's what we're going to do. Now, okay. So we're going to, now since my paper's two-sided, you know, we can turn it back and forth. So I'm going to just use my art glitter glue, and I want it to stick up a little bit at the top, a little off the sides, and I don't want it to stick out a lot at the bottom. But I do want it to stick out at the top and at the sides a little bit. And I want to start with this piece. So I'm just going to put glue right here in the middle. And I'm just going to stick it down. I'm not even going to think about it. I'm just going to stick it down. And okay, so this piece with the big yellow polka dots, that's going to go in the middle. So I need to flip them though so I can see them. Because right now they're all kind of one-sided. There we go. And I can't see them. So I like this one. Oh, now see, that's the same on both sides. Or do I have 2 pieces? Nope. Okay. And I just want to kind of scooch them around. And I'm going to do the base first. And then we're going to add the lace on top. Oh, that's little polka dots. Big polka dots. Let's add the big polka dots. There it is. That's the one I'm going to go for. Okay, this piece is too big. Let's make this one a little bit smaller. Now, let's add some more pink. Okay, I think that'll be enough hanging off the bottom. Yeah, because I have to be cautious coming off the bottom because of where it's going to sit. All right, so I'm going to put just a few pieces in the middle, and then we're going to start adding our laces. Okay, let's see what all we have here. Oop, too much pink. Let's maybe stick that one under there. Let's add this blue up here. There we go. Okay, so now we're going to add some of this lace. And I think to make sure that that lace sticks well, I'm going to use my Fabri-Tac just in little dots. I'm just going to put little dots of it. Just like that. Yeah, this is what kept me up last night. It was making me crazy. It was 1 o'clock before I fell asleep. It made me nutso crazy. And oops, not stuck to my finger. And I may come back and add something else to it also. Okay, I think we need a piece of this. Come on. We need a piece of this over here. Like that. Okay, there's some ribbon. We're going to have to add some ribbon. Here's this one. Where's the end here? Now I need something flat. Come on, get off my finger. That one's not flat, but this one is. This is going to be a heavy page. Okay, remember I told you flat side down on your buttons. Okay, so I need something right here. Now, I thought I had a different color of those, but I guess I don't. So I guess you're just going to have to go in there. Now let's see, there's some red over there. So let's see if there's a red button here. Right here. Let's see, I think this is the flat side. Now, where is that? Okay, that doesn't work there. So let's put this back in here. Okay, so now I just have my little snippets all over the place. That can go back over there. Now, let's get these things out of our way. Okay, let's see if this is dried here. Okay, now let's see if this will fit in here. Oh yeah, there we go. There. See, did that dry? I think it did. Good. So on this side, remember I told you I cut this to make a bigger pocket. I don't think I want a big pocket over here. I think I want to cut that straight and then make smaller pockets here. So I think that's what we're going to do now while we still have the opportunity to do it. So I'm going to put this in here. Let me scoot this down here. And let's scoot this up here. And we're going to cut that straight. Now, I'm going to cut this in half, and I'm going to use that center stitch line as my guide. And I'm going to use my ruler as my guide. And I'm going to line it up on my mat. Just like that. Now, whenever you cut something, you have to draw two lines. You have to decide where you're going to cut it, and then you have to draw a line 1/4 of an inch above it and 1/4 of an inch below it. Okay, so here's my line right here. So I need 1/4 of an inch below it. And the reason you have to do that is you have to be able to allow for the gluing area and for the flip of the area. Otherwise, when you go to glue it down, it won't work. So I'm going to cut out here. To here. All right, so, and that is not straight over here. Okay, I wiggled. So let's straighten this side up. Okay, right here. There we go. Okay, and that way when we glue this down, this pocket will be able to move and this pocket will be able to move. There'll be two separate pockets. Does that make sense? So if I were just to cut on the inside, I would still have to cut that little sliver between. Now I could cut this smaller if I wanted, but I just prefer just to cut it this way to start with. It just goes on and gives me the opportunity to make sure that I have that space that I need. Okay. And it never ends up the way that I want it to anyhow. Okay, so this is going to be one pocket. This is going to be my second pocket. Now, if I wanted this pocket, I could glue over here. This pocket could stay here. So I could have two separate pockets. They could go like this. Okay? Which maybe I'll do. You know, I could cover up this if I wanted, but I kind of like the lion. So now let's glue our pockets down. Now, when you go to glue them down, before you do that, if you're going to add your thumb notch, if you're going to make them go a specific direction, like for this one, I want this one to be a top loader. So for this one, I'm going to put my thumb notch up here, like that. For this one, I want this one to load from the side. So I'm going to put my thumb notch here. And because this one is going to load this way, I am going to round this corner over here. Because this is going to load from the sides, I'm going to round these two corners. For both of them, I'm going to ink them up a little bit. Just a little bit. I'm not going to go hog wild and pig crazy on them. And then I'm going to glue them down. So on this one, I wanted, you know, just again, I wanted to, and then down here, I'm going to add a pocket to keep this here. So I'm going to draw my glue line right across here and across the top. And then I'm going to glue it down like this. Okay, so now I have a pocket here that's going to load here. And I can add a pocket down here that things will come up and sit against this, which is going to be this one. Now, to make it match, let's go on and finish this one first, and I'll show you what I'm doing. And then we will be done. Okay, so we're going to go on, whoops. We are going to go on and glue this one down this way. And we're going to go on and glue across the bottom. Okay, so I think I glued too far down. Yes, I did. So I need to wipe that glue off. See, I glued too far down. I need to glue up here on this page. And this will also add strength to this old book page. Because this old book page is really old. There. So let's wipe off any excess glue. There. So now I have a big pocket right there. And this teal matches the teal of that sign. So now for this page, I'm going to add this pocket here. And I'm going to do the same as what I did there. I'm going to just kind of make it look like someone's been, you know, sticking their fingers in it. And then I'm going to glue this pocket down. Okay. And now these 2 pages are done. Okay, there we go. Now we have 2 more pages done in this signature. So our next signature that we're going to work on is probably going to be the pink one. And then we're going to start binding them. So we have this signature done, or these 2 pages done, and we have these 2 pages done. And I want to thank you all for joining me today. See, I want to show you this. So this is going to go this way. This is going to go this way. And this is going to go that way. This one needs to dry before I put anything in it. And I think I have... I'm going to put that one in there. I want to thank you all for joining me today here at the Ladybug Journals. I'm so glad you did. It's always fun to have somebody else around the craft table with you. And we're going to put one of our little, there we go, one of those in there. It's always fun to have someone around the craft table with you when you're having fun. I'm so glad you joined me today. And I hope you come back because I have lots more fun things planned, and we're going to be exploring some more and having some fun. And the next time you do, we're going to be working on another signature. So, explore in your journals and see what all you can come up with and all the fun things that you can explore with. And until I see you again in our next video, ta-ta for now.